A club announces a 100 million transfer. The number is everywhere within minutes. Almost none of that money moves that day. And some of it may never be paid at all. In 2025, clubs spent $13 billion on international transfer fees. Every one of those deals is registered and counted. But the money behind them does not move the way the headlines suggest. Here is the short answer. A transfer fee is not a price. It is a payment schedule, plus a set of bets. The guaranteed part is paid in installments, usually spread across 2 to 5 years. On top of that sits a conditional part, called add-ons, which is only paid if certain things happen. A slice is taken out before the selling club ever sees it. Agents take a commission on top. And in the accounts, none of it lands at once. Now the strange part. Start with the installments, because waiting has a price. A buying club rarely hands over the full amount. It pays a deposit, then a fixed sum every year until the deal is settled. In one reported deal, a club agreed to pay about €70 million instead of 60, purely for the right to settle in 3 installments. €10 million. Not for the player. For time. That is a loan in everything but name. The selling club is the lender, and it charges interest like one. Multiply that across a whole league and the numbers get heavy. Premier League clubs are reported to owe each other, and clubs abroad, more than £3 billion in future installments. Every club in that chain is waiting on money from another club, while owing money to a third. It works, right up until somebody cannot pay. Now the add-ons, and this is where the headline number stops being reliable. Add-ons are conditional. They pay out on appearances, on goals, on trophies, on qualifying for Europe, on international caps, sometimes on individual awards. One of the biggest recent moves was reported at around €103 million up front, with a further 30% in add-ons on top. So the figure you read is usually the ceiling, not the price. It is the best case for the selling club, printed as if it were a fact. Then there is a slice that never reaches the selling club at all. Football's rules take 5% out of every transfer fee and send it to the clubs that train the player between the ages of 12 and 23. It is split season by season. 0.25% of the fee for each year from 12 to 15. 0.5% for each year from 16 to 23. On a 100 million transfer, that is €5 million owed to youth clubs. Some of them very small. Some of them on another continent. And here is the strange part. For years, a great deal of that money was simply never paid. Small clubs often did not know they were owed anything, or had no way to chase it. So football built an institution whose job is to move that money for them. Then there are the agents. In 2025, clubs paid $1.37 billion in agent fees on international transfers alone. That is almost double the year before, and the highest total ever recorded. It is also paid by the clubs, not by the players. The player has his own set of numbers too. A signing-on fee for putting pen to paper. A loyalty bonus for staying. Wages every week for years. None of that appears in the fee you read about. And now the part that quietly reshaped modern football. Accounting. In a club's books, a transfer fee is not counted on the day it is handed over. It is spread evenly across the length of the contract. That spreading is called amortization. 100 million on a 5-year contract shows up as 20 million a year. Which creates an obvious temptation. Sign the same player for 8 years instead, and the yearly cost falls to 12.5 million. Same money. Same player. Better looking accounts. So some clubs began handing out contracts of 8 years and more, and the authorities noticed. From July 2023, UEFA capped amortization at 5 years, however long the contract actually runs. The Premier League matched the rule that December. Think about what that means. The length of a footballer's contract had become an accounting instrument, and it took a rule change to stop it. So here is the fact to take with you. When you read that a club paid 100 million, what actually happens is this. A deposit now. Installments for years. Add-ons only if the player delivers. 5% to the youth clubs. A commission to the agents. And wages on top of all of it. The headline figure is the one number in the whole deal that nobody ever writes a check for. And one last number. In 2025 there were 24,000 international transfers. Fewer than 1 in 5 involved a fee at all. Most football transfers are free. The market you read about is the loud edge of a very quiet one. And what a club is really buying is not a player. It is time. A fixed number of years, which the accountants have now capped at 5. Football measures everything in time. And the most famous number in the sport is 45 minutes. Ask anyone why a half is exactly that long, and watch them guess.